assuming?
Yes, that's good.
Perfect. All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, future viewers from CodeMiami. I'm Caroline. I'm from Florida Community Innovation. Esmeralda, my co-presenter, is here. She's one of our student leaders, and she said public speaking was something that scared her, so we're gonna make her do some of it. But
I believe in that.
But it's a very friendly audience. Her slides nearer to the end. But yeah, so I want it to be interactive. I want this to be hopefully the first of many meetings that we have as a partnership.
That'd be great.
Yes. So yes, what we're gonna cover, I'll try to get through these kind of fast so we can have more time for dialogue, and we can also dialogue throughout, but I'll talk a little bit about what is FCI, who is FCI, project spotlights, the data walk we did, which is how this idea came to be, and that was actually Esmeralda's idea. She really pushed for it, which is great. And then how we should work together. So what is FCI? So we're also a nonprofit. We were founded in 2020 by a group of my friends and I, and most of us were early career technologists living up in DC. And we started during COVID because we were all very anxious. We wanted to do something good for Florida. Our first project was in partnership with the UF Medical School. So we were really focusing on mapping COVID resources on their behalf. And that was just because I used to work for them. I had relationships with them. It was a natural fit. And they're still a partner through their bioethics unit of FCI. But then we started broadening things. The Central Florida Foundation, I had worked with them on like civic education programs. So I told them about our new organization. And they were like, there are a lot more problems in Florida than just COVID. Like a big thing we've identified is resource access. We keep on seeing like community organizations that we serve, like trying to create their own resource maps. And we would really like just one authoritative nonprofit resource map because they saw a bunch of like for-profit competitors that they weren't really pleased with. And they had resources that they wanted to present spatially. So the way they sold us on it was minimum viable products. You'll at least have our resources on this map. So we built it, and then we started adding more databases and iterating it. And because we were all nerds and we really love learning in universities, we brought in different university partners, which I'll have on the next slide. So with the University of Michigan, we were able to optimize the resource map for social workers. With American University, we were able to get policy proposals about resource access generally and how maps can be a solution. We had evaluation students from Georgetown Data Science Masters help us evaluate resource maps for resource access as well. And then we started adding more and more projects, almost turning into a nonprofit student incubator, like Esmeralda's Data Walk. She wanted to do a project and we made that happen. So our main mission is to empower the next generation, here they are, of civic technologists with like a kinder, gentler data science research civic tech internship. So if you're first gen, or maybe you didn't do so well one semester and your GPA won't let you get accepted to other internships, or you have to take a few extra shifts at Publix and it's hard for you to find like the Metas, the Googles, those types of internships, but you still want to do good things and learn new skills. We have designed our organization so volunteers who are software engineers or data scientists can mentor the students, and then together they can build something great, do research, do community listening, iterate some projects. And we operate statewide. We have a critical mass in Gainesville just because that's where we are usually. But we have partners in Panama City, with the United Way of Northwest Florida. They're one of our partners in Orlando. The Central Florida Foundation provides student stipends. With the Community Foundation of North Central Florida, Gainesville, they also provide student stipends. And pretty much all of our money right now goes right to the students. So I do this as a volunteer, it's a passion project. And all of our other, like, I guess, adult is the wrong word, later career volunteers are also unpaid, but the students get honorariums for their semester work.
Great.
So, and that's one way I thought we could work with CodeMiami, because we do have, and you mentioned students at the start.
Yeah.
We do work really intentionally with different universities. So UC Berkeley, UCF, University of Michigan, UF, Georgetown, American, where like for Georgetown and American, for example, we're the capstone class for them. So their students get to do work in the data science and public policy masters. UC Berkeley, we were the project for the cybersecurity clinic this past semester. And that's, I think I can say that now because they fixed our cybersecurity vulnerabilities. I wasn't supposed to say anything. But they were actively working on it because they're like, you're gonna get hacked.
That happened to me,
Yeah,
actually.
really? You got hacked?
We not a CodeMiami thing, but we had a long time sea level rise and environmental project, community science project that we did, and we hosted on Bluehost and got hacked. And they, Bluehost stopped doing backups after a certain time. So, yeah, it was brutal. So, yeah, now I have it, it's locked down, but.
Yeah, we should talk about community science after. That's actually where I work for an organization called SciStarter. And that's where most of my like consulting work comes through. So
Okay.
we bring some of that into this too. Like we're starting to do more crowdsourcing with FCI, but we've really been, the civic technology angle has been a huge focus for us.
Okay.
But I think the student partnerships has been a real win for us and how we've really scaled, because when you work with young people, it brings a lot of energy, gets people excited. They come up with great new ideas, like Esmeralda did. It's a win-win. And some more pictures of us in the community. So we're not afraid to tackle little one-off projects. The resource map is definitely our biggest ongoing project, but up in the upper left-hand corner, that's when we built a sensor for an urban farm in the Paramore community of Orlando. They're situated in a food desert, and Nico and Delaney, who are pictured there, they wanted to do a fun data science hardware project to help the farm. It was basically an Alexa for plants, and the farm was super happy to have that tool.
An Alexa for plants.
Yeah.
So how did that work?
So it's supposed to be a public education tool because the farm wanted more community outreach tools. So the people who were just sitting in the lobby at the farm could say like, it was called Bit Garden. So they'd be like, Bit Garden, how often should I water this tomato plant? And it would tell them.
Oh, that's clever.
And you would program in what plant it was, and it would tell you like when to water at regular intervals, how much sun it would need, that kind of thing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's very interesting.
And it was a very small project, very limited in scope, but that was we're happy to take those smaller projects as well as they fit student interest and community partner interest.
And I think Sylvia worked on something, MIA bot or something like that, MIA chat, Miami chat. Douglas might know. Douglas.
Yeah, Lloyd, and Lloyd started the Mia chat.
Mia chat. So imagine turning Mia chat into an Alexa.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be fun. Okay, all right, cool.
What was Mia Chat? Was it a plant education tool or?
I think
It was pretty much a tool for kind of how you would use Chat GPT in general, but specifically designed for Miami.
Well, you'll have to tell me more about that. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I could see it as an Alexa.
Fun. Yeah, that's something we could potentially work together on.
Okay.
And then bottom left-hand corner, that's when we came up for came down for Give Miami Day. We're trying to build more relationships with the Miami community. So we've had such warm relationships with the different foundations. We're like, what do we need to do to get in with the Miami Foundation? We're still working on it, but if you guys know anybody or have friends there.
We have people who know people.
Okay.
I think you just submitted a proposal to them for surveying the communication landscape from a informal information provider perspective, because they're interested in looking at misinformation and disinformation. So yeah, we're doing that with SIPA, our politics college.
Cool.
School of Public Affairs. So, but I mean, we just submitted, so.
Got it.
Also, the Knight Foundation gives a lot of grants down here.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it goes straight to student stipends, so I feel like it's something they could get behind.
that's great.
Yeah. Cool.
So let me ask you this, one of the things that I've noticed is, so you're talking about, you've worked with like Berkeley and UF, so these are all not commuter schools.
Yeah.
Right? So FIU is different that way.
Yeah.
Because we are much more of a commuter school, and part of that is because our students, they don't want to leave Miami. You know, they grew up here and they're pretty much planning to stay here. Now, we have tried to encourage them, you know, for their careers to migrate beyond. We've had some success there, but I think it's a slightly different.
Well, American is a commuter school.
Is it really?
That we worked with. Yeah, and all the students that we've worked with for them have been distance students.
Oh.
So for the last team we had, there was one of them that was on the West Coast, so we kept on having to do calls at like 9 p.m. But I think the main thing is just finding the right project for the right student.
Yeah.
Because once you can slot in with that, you're good to go. And every student is different, every school is different, so.
Okay, that's interesting, all
Yeah.
right.
I think it's just scoping stuff out appropriately. So if it's a commuter, if you're working with a commuter student population, maybe you find a project where people can work more asynchronously, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other picture up there, that's when we went to the Brigade Congress, for Code for America. I didn't know if any of you were you there?
Oh, no, I wasn't there, but we are Go for America.
Yeah.
It's one of the brigades that
Yeah.
no longer is associated with Go for America.
Yeah.
Right.
But what do you,
We weren't, we just like somehow we emailed them and we're like, can we come? And they said yes.
what year is this? This is one of the summits, what year?
It was St. Louis.
Okay, so, okay, that was like, 2 years ago,
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was so much fun. We
I was on a Zoom call for those, it's like,
Okay.
yeah, instead of being in there,
Yeah,
they had an online map made
yeah.
where you can walk on the online map to different sections and then you go into
Oh, that's fun.
whatever they were presenting in that room.
Cool. Maybe you saw our presentation because we brought two of our students, Ikram and Chelsea, and then Nicole's on our board and you've met Nicole. But Ikram and Chelsea still talk about that Congress. So I think that shows the value of experiential learning. Like when you drag the students out to events, it makes a
Yeah.
big impact.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that was a really good conference.
Yeah, I hope we have more, now is everything splintered off, but as some of these cities, they join together again. I hope we have more conferences in the
Yeah.
future, even with less cities involved.
Yeah.
Definitely. We could even do one for Florida because we absorbed actually Code for America's Gainesville Brigade.
Oh, really?
So we're the parent organization to Code GNB now.
Code GNB?
Yeah, Gainesville.
But you know that there's Code for Orlando and Code for Tampa Bay?
We've tried to get in touch
Frank
with them. Are
and
they
then-
still active? Or
I know those, I know they have the names of those people, maybe I
Yeah.
can send you the contact for those people, and
Yeah.
maybe you can still coordinate, because you guys are so close to each other.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like an hour
I
from
think
us,
we
so.
all could work together.
Yeah.
it would
Yeah.
be to find a way, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll try to find the contacts.
Yeah, like Code GNB is still kicking. We took over their project, so now if they have FCI support and student mentorships become a big part of their mission. So all the people who were in Code GNB, they all mentor at least one FCI student and then work on at least one FCI project. So it's been well, but I would love for all the old brigades to us all be united.
band together.
Yeah, exactly. We can do our own Congress.
Yeah, yeah.
So our model, which I think has worked well, is researching then acting. So that's why the resource map has taken so long to develop, because we built student research into each step of the process. So like making sure this is actually a good solution to the problem of people not being able to find the resources they need. You'll see some of our other projects, they've also had really intensive research projects. Being intentional about looping in student research teams has helped with that, especially the ones from other states. Like I think it adds like another level of like credibility when you kind of have like outside auditors from like Michigan looking at your stuff and helping solve Florida's problems. Everything we do is, oh, Zoom user entered the waiting room. Hello, Zoom user. Let's see who it is.
Hello, Zoom user.
Feel free to say hello to the new person who just joined. We want to keep this conversational. You can unmute at any point, open floor.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Are you
Okay,
already
my name.
involved with CodeMiami or?
Yes, we are. So I work with Sylvia on Logos Blue Foundation on different innovative smart sustainable city initiatives. This link was left in a group chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just interested in just joining in and seeing I was going to come up to the university, but it's a little late. Maybe I can make the next one.
Okay. What's your
yeah,
name? You
my name
sound
is Stephen.
familiar.
Stephen Colquitt.
Were you at the Collabathon?
Which event was that?
I think he was there, Collabathon, Collabathon in the same room. It was a
Oh,
hackathon,
okay.
it was climate, it's like a climate hackathon.
Okay, yes. So that was at the Bayside, which campus?
The BBC. Yes, I
Okay.
think we met.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, I'm sorry I don't have my camera on. I'm just getting home.
It's
Um,
okay. All good. We're just happy you're here. Thanks for joining us.
yeah, thanks for having the event. So I was looking over the description of this event. And Caroline, there was a member's name Caroline. I didn't get
Yeah.
the last. I guess.
Um, yeah, that's me. Hello.
Oh, okay, wonderful. So you're over the innovation of Southern
Yes.
Florida. Okay, so
So we actually operate statewide here. I'll pull up our little thing. But
okay.
yeah, we mainly empower. So this is us. That's our logo. We mainly
Mhm.
empower students, young people, and then volunteers of all ages to work on different civic technology projects. So I think a big reason why we're here is we're scoping out ways we can collaborate with CodeMiami and other organizations for the good of all Floridians.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah,
Cool,
I
cool.
got it. I just
Right.
it came to my attention that I guess you were over the innovation department. I'm just trying to get like more context or a little more clarity
No,
on
she's
that.
not associated with FIU. She's in Gainesville. You know where University of Florida is?
Yeah.
She's all the way up in Gainesville, but she
Oh,
wants to work with us down here.
Yeah, I
in
bounce
Miami.
around. I've been here like once a week, which is
okay.
interesting. That drive is it's a time.
Did you drive down to?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Okay.
So that can actually transition into what
Yeah.
I was going to mention to you. So I'm in the transportation, especially new generative mode of transportation sector. Silvio and the most of the group they work on, cleaning the oceans and marinas and the bays here.
Mm.
But for me specifically, like I'm working in the eVTOL space. Um, so when you say a long drive, we're kind of working on sustainable solutions for that. I don't know if I can further expound upon it with you, or like we can have maybe a little discussion or further dialogue about it.
Yeah, I would
Um,
love an electric car.
okay.
Game changer.
No. So it's not a car. So it's more like I consider them more like mini helicopters.
Oh.
Oh, the EV, like, it's like it is a helicopter,
eVTOL. Yeah,
like
eVTOL.
vehicle, but it's like a helicopter that transports like
Oh.
taxis.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That'd be nice
eVTOL.
for that Gainesville, Miami commute.
Yeah. So those are use cases for like Airbuses and um, smaller rotor wing transportation methods like drones. Um, Even a blimp is actually considered drone.
Okay.
Maybe we
Um,
should discuss
so
that with
yes, if I can
Silvio.
like maybe further expound upon it with you and just maybe have some dialogue when you get some
Yeah,
time.
I'll run through some of our
I
other
mean, I
project
think it'd be
examples,
a
but
great
then let's talk.
collaboration.
Yeah, definitely. We should definitely, I'll run through some project examples we have, and then we can definitely talk about it. So I mentioned our resource map. That's our flagship project. We have support from 2 community foundations in Orlando and Gainesville. And that's where a lot of our university partnerships have gone. And we're trying to just grow it database by database. So it just launched in Gainesville with resources from the city of Gainesville and the community foundation up there. It's serving Panama City with the United Way resources up there. So what we really need is like more databases. So ideas for that would be good.
Do you know Greg Bloom?
No, yeah.
So he's down here.
Oh, yes, yeah. He's very anti-resource maps. He actually messaged me and told me not to do this project.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, CodeMiami, Code America did like 311 and all the other.
Yeah.
We have resource maps too in the past,
Yeah.
so I don't know if that's
Well, I
what is
think the main
objection.
thing is just like trying to share data would be good, because the reason we wanted to build this is Seminole County Public Schools was building their own, so we're jumping in and like with the community foundation's support, rerouting them, because like that's the reason why I wanted to do this. We have so many different organizations building up like little splintered pieces. And I think
Right.
we finally have a critical mass of support where we could just have one, but that's why he was against it. But then once it's yeah.
Fine with databases.
Yeah.
To interpret.
So I can show you one. Let me give you some examples. So for example, with our community foundations, they both have their own database. So like the one in Gainesville has the philanthropy hub. So these are all the nonprofits that provide resources to people in Gainesville, like the housing folks. If you want to view all, it really runs the gamut. Like It's everything from like, like social support, to, Acorn, I think that's financial support.
Hello, how are you doing?
Habitat for Humanity.
Hey,
Hi, welcome.
Have some donuts, have some snacks.
Oh, awesome. Snacks.
Yes, please.
Not like you didn't give me last time for the Red Bull. I know-
That's right, it made me catatonic, yeah, that Red Bull.
So this is an example of a database where they have like some information about like the nonprofit itself. This one's expired, but they would have like the services they offer to community members and things like that. So that's the Gainesville database.
So it's basically a customized portal. Everybody's coming up with their own version of the portal.
Yeah, and it's all separate. So we're trying to bring it together in one
It's not
place.
coordination.
Yeah.
nothing.
And then the Central Florida Foundation had their own version where is it? Nonprofit search. Where they had all of their different stuff. Where's their nonprofit search? We'll just go straight to
So
it.
you're trying to eliminate duplication of effort.
Bring
right?
people together.
So why was he against one centralized?
He's like, they tend to fail and people don't see them through and it ends up making things worse. Because like it ruins like nonprofit trust, but I was like, here's why I think, because I'm using a model from my work at SciStarter. So I used to be a program director, but then I dropped to a part-time role just to do my PhD. But SciStarter is the world's biggest citizen science database. And they pull in from all the different citizen science databases around the world. So like Australia's government has one. SciStarter pulls it in. They pull in the European Citizen Science Associations. Like the federal government one, citizen science database in the US, they pull it in as well. And then people can also choose to add themselves if they'd like. So seeing how SciStarter managed the citizen science ecosystem, I was like, okay, I could do this for nonprofit resources in Florida.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Because Greg's whole thing, I remember, was Open 211.
yeah,
And which is kind of a similar thing, but
Mhm.
kind of more like telephone directory based. It
Mhm.
was kind of so, yeah, okay.
so I think this one, we're trying to kind of play both sides, so
Yeah.
like on the resource map, like nonprofits can add themselves, or it doesn't have to be a nonprofit, it could be a community resource. They have to make an account and add themselves, I'm not gonna make an account right now. So also pull in those databases, and then one piece of feedback the Central Florida Foundation gave us and why they didn't want to go with a for-profit competitor to make their resource map is they're like, no accounts for users. So if I'm just someone who's trying to access food, I don't need to have an account. Like they don't want our data because like for-profit competitors can sell that data.
Oh, right.
And that's not something we wanted. So that's why I felt comfortable taking this project on, even though I read really carefully Greg's objections
Right.
and I talked to him on the phone. I was like, well, we have someone who's gonna do it anyway. And I think we can make it better and create something that's useful.
Okay, gotcha.
But I appreciate his critiques. I think it's important to have critiques.
Do you have access to what he had? I guess he had access to some of the 211 data.
No, I haven't been able to crack South Florida yet. If you look at our map, it's pretty much just like Panama City, Gainesville, Orlando so far. We're trying to grow by connecting more and more of those databases together.
Okay.
What happens if, say, you want to onboard Miami and Miami wants, in order to access to like look at these resources, you keep an account? Are you building out separate solutions for each of the cities?
If like the city of Miami wanted to use the resource map, but they wanted to count data of people.
Yeah.
We probably just have to say like, we don't have that functionality. And like, if you want a free resource, we can't do that. Yeah, I mean, because I think it's also like, and they can also do their own thing, right? Like if they wanted to have their own accounts database, that's fine, but we can set up APIs to pull in their data to this map. So they can still be part of the big consortium ecosystem. Yeah.
And I'm not familiar with the SciStarter.
Mhm.
But it pulls in citizen science data.
Mhm.
So do they have a way to quality check or control the data?
We use the PPSR core, so the public participation in scientific research core. So like, let's look at, I don't know, I'll pull up, let's search health. So this is how citizen science is any way a member of the public can do scientific research. So here's Florida's Lake Watch. So science that involves like, with this project, for example, which is actually run by the state government in Florida, Florida FWC. It is where people take water quality samples and monitor water quality. And Lake Watch it's actually a really long running citizen science project, but they always need more volunteers, right? There are a lot of lakes in Florida. So they added themselves to SciStarter and they had to fill out all these different fields. So the goal, the task, the where, description, et cetera, et cetera. And we worked with all the different databases around the world, so everybody has the same criteria.
So they have a standard
Yeah.
field set.
And that's what we
okay.
call the PPSR core,
Oh, okay.
the
All right.
public participation in scientific research, like core data
Right.
fields.
So I'll say like, because we have a little applet that people use, we ask people to use to take pictures and measurements
Oh, add it to SciStarter.
during the King Tide days. But one of the things that we've done to help quality control the data, and I mean, we bring people
Yeah.
together and we train them, et cetera, is to, if so we have them record the water depth near like a drain when it's at a floody day. But they stick a yardstick in the water, right?
Yeah.
And then they take a picture. So we can see where the yardstick and the water meet.
Mhm.
And they also take, and that, so if they say there's 7 inches of water, we can see on the picture that it's 7 inches,
Yeah, well, so we don't have to get involved in that SciStarter, which is lucky because we're just a recruitment tool.
right?
So you would add yourself to SciStarter and you put the description of how people do it. But when they click visit on SciStarter, they go somewhere else. Oh, and you can see their website is dead right now. I should email them. So that's another, we try,
Interesting.
we email them on a quarterly basis, all the project leaders, and we ask them to update it. But the value of adding SciStarter, or your project to SciStarter, is you could use our people finder. And like, let's say there's a king tide coming in
Right,
and you want to email everybody in Miami to participate.
right.
You can do that through SciStarter. Let's see how many users we
That's
have.
interesting.
We have 504 registered users in Miami, like in the surrounding area.
Okay.
You could also narrow it a little bit. But yeah, this was the NSF funded the project finder, but SciStarter just keeps on adding different projects. But I would say the project finder is like the core of the site.
Okay, all right, I'll let some people know about that.
Yeah, and I'm a resource for it. I run SciStarter's corporate volunteer program, so like with Verizon and our Girl Scouts program. So I dabble. I'm always happy to set
Okay.
different things up.
I'll introduce you to Tiffany Troxler.
Yay! I've heard her name before.
Yeah, yeah, she's the science director for the Sea Level Solution Center. So she's on leave, I think, in the fall, but I'll email her this summer.
What database are you using?
Well, that was just SciStarter. I just showed that as an example because we all have a mutual colleague, Greg Bloom, who is very anti-resource maps. And I heard his critiques and I thought they made sense. And I was like, okay, but here's how I'm addressing them. And the reason FCI, the organization I co-founded, why we felt confident taking on this project is we had SciStarter, where I also work as an example for like how to manage a good map of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you building this database of resources and, nonprofit organizations?
Well, we're adding like different partners, so, like, the Central Florida Foundation had their list, the United Way of Northwest Florida had their list. We just added UCF as a partner because they had a list of resources for senior citizens they compiled. And they're also great too, because in their MOU, they're saying that they'll have social workers use the map to help the senior citizens that they created the resource list for. So that's a great partner right there.
So a list, I'm gonna guess, is like a spreadsheet that has like names,
All the different fields.
addresses, phone numbers,
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera.
And if you want to make an account on the map just to see like the fields we ask for, we keep it pretty simple.
Okay.
Because we want people to be able to see like, is this a good fit for me? Is this like, if it's a geographic resource, like, is it near me?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And do you use Google Maps or what do you use?
Yeah, Google Maps.
Google Maps,
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very user friendly.
Oh my God, ArcGIS, it's, I call it bloatware.
Yeah.
So right now you need either like a partner that you're working with that can provide you information.
Yeah, or you can just add yourself if you run a nonprofit. So like CodeMiami, you all could add yourselves if you wanted to like showcase yourself as like a public facing resource.
Have
Okay,
you thought about just fetching all the nonprofits listed with the government,
Well,
like Sunbiz, like?
I would worry about that because sometimes those nonprofits aren't up to date.
Right, I mean, you just go through a filter then to like,
Yeah.
if they're currently within.
Yeah, but like if we add, I found this with SciStarter because we tried that once, like just like adding random citizen science projects and then letting them know they were on there. They're like, why did you add us?
Okay.
It's better, I think, to have people opt in or be part of an existing database that they opted into.
right,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's also a little bit more of a commitment towards quality control.
Mhm.
It's interesting. We're thinking about coming up, this is somewhat related, but kind of related. we're thinking about with all the informal information providers out there, like people under 40 say that they get their news from social media, but they're not getting it from the New York Times on Facebook, right?
They're getting it from TikTok influencers.
They're getting.
I
it from-
see your fellows, your peers at FCI, like, all, like, that's where they get most of their news.
Yeah.
I will say.
Instagram.
You all use it like Google. It's so, I was
Yes.
watching them the other, because we have an
Yes.
in-person meeting
Yes.
once a week. I was watching them the other day, like, one of the students was going on vacation, Ikram was going somewhere. And she was just like, oh, what's there to do in Chicago? And she searches things to do in Chicago on TikTok. I'm like, they don't even Google anymore.
This is so bad. Like, you know everything.
So we're thinking, one of our ideas was to develop a series of guidelines to help informal information providers, influencers understand what would make more useful, legitimate, and accurate information. You know, some of them don't care, like they don't care, and sometimes if you lie or you exaggerate, that what generates clicks, right? That's what people get outraged.
Yeah, the
they get
algorithms
outraged.
select on controversy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, so our thought was that, but if you have some concern for like, you know, if you're talking about like, let's say cars are very popular. Different kinds of cars, how cars work, and you want to let your users know that you've taken some care in being, you know, accurate in your presentation of information. You could get like our good housekeeping seal of approval.
Yeah.
So we're kind of, that's one of the things we're working on, but I mean, it would be similar to, you know, if you want to add your data to the science database, citizen science database, or to the resource map. You know, there might be a similar.
Yeah, we should work together. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
there's a lot we could share, because we also started building a certification system. This is further down.
Right.
But so one of our students, I'll just go ahead and jump to this. So Juliana, she had observed human trafficking in her community in Pensacola, like down the street from the school. So she was really motivated to stop human trafficking somehow. And she just graduated like 2 weeks ago, but she was a computer science major. So she wanted to use her skills to do something constructive in the realm of stopping human trafficking. So she spent a year interviewing experts across the state, like the Bright Lab at USF, Stay Law Freedom, which is a nonprofit of human trafficking experts. And what she landed on was this project that she called SHINE, so Stop Human Trafficking Through Industry Networking and Education, which is, so she's built the technical infrastructure, now we just need the criteria. But basically, in the state of Florida, hospitality chains are now required by law to train their staff to recognize human trafficking. But these trainings are kind of a black box. The expert told us, we don't know what's going on. Like, we have no idea what Marriott's telling people to do.
Right.
We have no idea what Hyatt's telling people to do. It'd be really nice to just like have a quality assurance system. So the project that Juliana built consists of a database and badge system. Once we get the criteria from all the experts, like a consensus of like what a good human trafficking training should have, like human
Right.
trafficking recognition training should have, these hospitality chains be able to upload their trainings to the database and get a mark of excellence if they pass. And if they don't pass, we won't call them out. We'll just help them figure it out. And we also, at first I was kind of like, Juliana, like, why this? Like, can't we just like make one true training and then all the hospitality chains can use it? But apparently they all have to be different because they all have different systems. Like Marriott's like internal procedures are different from Hyatt's, but there are still like criteria they have in common about how to recognize human trafficking. Like,
Right.
you know, if a lot of people are entering and leaving a room, usually human trafficking might be going on there, are like just like different things for them to look out for. If you only hear one person talking when they're checking in, there's someone who seems quiet and subdued, might be evidence of human trafficking, things like that we've gotten from the initial interviews we did. So yeah, we have the technical infrastructure built for the certification already.
Right.
And I think it's a pretty interesting, innovative
Yeah.
system, but we need help with the research, and this is a common theme actually. When I was putting this together for all the different projects, like the tech, we're pretty much set. We have some great software engineering students and volunteers. The hard part is the community engagement. Like that's where I think we could collaborate if you have people who can be looking for projects or students looking for projects. Like we need students who are willing to like go out into the community and implement and do more community listening sessions or do the research like for Shine, you know, to sit there and do the Delphis. It's a Delphi process where like you interview a bunch of people, then you know what commonalities they have and you have the consensus criteria from it. We need people to sit down with the experts and just interview them over Zoom. So that's the biggest thing we need help with right now is like people to do the community engagement. Same with this project that some of the students started. They were really interested. They wanted to know what's the best way to help people with disabilities through technology. Like, are there any resource gaps? Are there any technologies we could build to assist individuals with disabilities in the workforce? So they put together like a whole literature review of everything that's out there. They put together a survey, but now we need help like finishing up the community engagement, getting people to take the survey, finishing up the research project to actually scope what technologies would be helpful. So yeah, like I would say research and community engagement are our biggest needs. In terms of tech, we're pretty much set. Let me give you all some other project examples really quick. This is actually based in Miami, so we got a grant.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That's me in the city cemetery.
Yeah.
Where I hang out. We got a grant from the Florida Humanities Council to build GoBituary. It's like an obituary, but on the go.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for most of today, just meetings with our community partners for that. We're basically telling historical stories at the level of individual lives. So you'll be able to go to the cemetery come August, scan a grave, and learn about the person buried there with a fun multimedia experience. Like we have histories that the students wrote. We have like quizzes in there, a podcast portion. And the reason we're doing that is City Cemetery of Miami was the first interfaith and interracial cemetery in the Southeast that we know of. So it tells a really unique story about Miami's past. And the theory is, if we connect people to the past, we'll make them more engaged in the present and Miami's future.
Yeah, gotcha. That's interesting.
It's gonna be I really love this project. It's just so much fun.
It's funny. It's where is this cemetery?
It's in Wynwood.
Oh, it is, okay, perfect location. You know, that's where all the young people want to go.
Yeah. And there's me and Julia Tuttle.
It's funny. You know, I mean, Philly is a big cemetery and kind of gothy city.
Yeah.
They would probably be into this.
Well, one thing we were thinking about with this project, so one of our Berkeley students came up with the idea, and she basically we worked together on the grant. She was saying, why don't we spin this out to other cities? Like it doesn't have to just be Florida. Like Miami City Cemetery made sense because it's such a special place. But pretty much like any city, like any cemetery in Philadelphia would probably really like this.
Yeah.
So it's something that we might spin off into its own nonprofit.
Cool.
Yeah. And that I really like this one too, because like when I visit my City Cemetery, I can like feel the water sometimes, like the ground is squishy.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm worried about it for future generations. So I like that we're preserving the history now, no matter what happens environmentally.
Yeah.
So I got resource map, GoBituary. Able, we already talked about that. Data walk. All right, Esmeralda, over to you. Tell them about your data walk that you just did. This is one of the newer projects that we started.
Talking about the ground being squishy.
Yes.
So yeah, we did a data walk, like it says, like about climate gentrification, and it's just about like how climate change and its effects, like sea level rise, will like cause like flooding in certain parts of Miami. So people are moving into like places that are higher elevated, like Little Haiti, and that's causing like property values to go up, rent to go up, and long-term residents are moving out, unfortunately, like, and that causes like isolation. And yeah, they're just being displaced from like where they grew up and their culture. So we just want to like raise awareness about that. And that's why we created the data walk, which is like we analyze data related to climate gentrification and climate change and the data visualizations. We put it around the room and we just have people walk around, ask questions, and just create like a conversation about it. So yeah.
And where did you display this?
Yeah, you go.
It was at the Citadel, so it was like in a gallery space there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, there's the Little Haiti Cultural Center in
Yeah.
Miami.
They were booked and busy this month because it's Haitian Heritage Month.
Yeah,
They,
right.
but they shared our event. They were excited about it.
That's good, that's good. So Carl Just is sort of a photographer in residence here. He does a lot of work with the Haitian cultural community. This might be something he might be interested in.
Well, and that gets us to our next piece. So Esmeralda is currently with the whole student team revising the visualizations that they made based on the feedback we got at the event to do a blog post write-up. But she also made this reel. I feel like there's gonna be a terrible echo. Let's see what happens.
We hosted our data walk at the Citadel. Our lovely member Shina was welcoming people into our event space where we had data visualization set up around the room. Last week in Miami, we hosted our data walk at the Citadel. Our lovely member Shina was welcoming people into our event space where we had data visualization set up around the room. We focused on the topic of climate gentrification, which refers to how climate change and its effects, such as sea level rise, will displace communities. Our goal was to share our main insights that we gathered from analyzing data through these graphs. Each of our members, such as Libby and our director Caroline, made their own visualizations. We were happy to see climate organizations and community members show up and walk around the room to look at each of our visualizations, as well as discuss their observations and questions about climate gentrification. We are currently working on our blog post talking more in detail about climate gentrification and our data walk, so keep an eye out for that, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, it was, and you should tell them about the community action project ideas you have based on it.
Yeah, so we didn't wanna like stop there, like, we wanna continue, we wanna like go out, interview community members that are affected by this. See like, any commonalities like amongst the interviews, like issues that they've been having because of gentrification and stuff like that. Maybe how they've been feeling isolated because they had to move away from, their community and stuff like that.
And you're focusing on the community of Little Haiti.
Yeah,
Could you speak Creole at all?
no,
But we have FCI students on the project who do.
Who do?
Yeah.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
that's good, yeah. We, Island TV is in residence here as well. They shoot some of their shows here. That's the leading Caribbean streaming network.
Oh, excellent.
And they're, Haiti is a large part of their audience.
They'd be a great partner. Like we wanted to do like a data visualization series with them, like maybe like, cause we were talking about like a mixed methods project, like a combination of like interviews complemented by the data vizzes that we did. Cause we mainly looked at census and American community survey data, but we want to get more on the ground, like what's the lived experience of climate gentrification?
I think even just a short,
Yeah.
15-minute documentary about
That'd be
even
great.
citizen, discussions about what they're experiencing.
Yeah.
Because we've all heard about the climate gentrification in Little Haiti, but not so often do we hear about how it's actually impacted real people.
Exactly.
Like you don't see them on the news, you see gentrification in Little Haiti.
Yeah, you
And
see
that's
like
it.
the census tract data, yeah.
So it's abstract, it doesn't, you don't really understand. And because rental properties here are just insane, I mean, it's really impacted that community who has to move out of their neighborhood, right? So, okay, all right, well, all that's very interesting.
So you're just about sharing this out on your social media?
Yeah, Esmeralda made the reel, but we're still working on editing the blog post because we got lots of feedback at the event about ways we can make it better. And then over summer, we'll do a longer research project at the community level. I'm hoping it'd be nice to crowdsource with the community, maybe a set of policy recommendations.
So do you guys have video editors on?
No, most of our students are software and we got a stats major right here,
So
so.
we are video editors.
Oh, fantastic.
So, I mean, I could see something like, when
Yeah.
are you gonna do your interviews?
I mean, we were just like the summer is our time frame. So honestly, whenever you all want.
Let me make a couple inquiries,
Okay.
we might be able to tag team a couple.
Oh, that'd be
students to do some-
awesome.
To shoot with you guys.
Yeah. Hey.
Is there a plan for the next data walk? Like, is it?
Not
something-
yet, but I really like this model. I feel like there's a lot of potential. We could do plenty of data walks. We did one in Gainesville that was a lot of fun, in partnership with the city.
Alright, we'll have to consider some sort of partnership the next time you do a data walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if y'all have a topic you want to spotlight, we can put something together. If your students wanted to dive into some data.
Right,
Yeah.
well, we do some data stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're looking to work with, our professional colleagues at CodeMiami is, we wanna see if there's ways that we can use things like, either work with data,
Mhm.
or we have the volumetric capture unit that we very much want to try to bring into the fold. And some of my kids, they work in Unity, they work in Unreal. Those are 3D environments where you can put stuff like from the volumetric capture unit into those environments. So we want to try to find a way to sort of meld community and technology Yeah, so at any rate, okay.
Yeah.
All right, what's some of your ideas for working together?
Well, I feel like we've already started talking about them,
Yes.
but getting students in South Florida involved, because we've had a big base at UF and then, schools from out of state, but I really want to get more Florida schools in the mix. And we can use our model of like a $500 semester stipend for like 5 to 10 hours a week of work.
And where do you get the money for that?
Right now it's been coming from the community foundations, but I would love to get the Miami Foundation involved. If they wanted to sponsor the South Florida students, that'd be really good. It's not expensive, like for $5,000, we could put together a really strong FIU program, I think. And then just collaborating on the different projects. I mentioned like the community engagement and the research parts are where we see the most like, okay, we have people plug in here. So any of your volunteers, like people who are, working professionals who by night want to do social good.
Oh, the working professional side, so
Yeah.
one of our board members is Alan.
Yeah,
Alan Tito, who's the founder of Grammar Hub, which is Lucas is a
nice.
part of.
Cool.
So they have professionals,
Yeah.
working professionals.
Yeah.
And they have Zooms every Monday,
Nice.
so
I
they
feel
they
like we're right for a
Right.
corporate volunteer program, I think, if like a corporation wanted to start like having their employees do these projects as like part of a volunteer effort. That'd be, I think, really cool.
I meet at least monthly with them and,
Yeah.
we're all software developers, so that's.
Yeah,
There is connection there.
that'd be awesome.
Okay.
Like any corporate, the program I run for Verizon at SciStarter has been a lot of fun, where the employees are able to like for a certain amount of hours each year, like get paid to do citizen science projects. I think we could set something similar up with like a software engineering company or like like any sort of like Florida-based company, if they wanted to volunteer and do FCI projects as part of their corporate volunteer work.
Does it have to be Florida based?
Anywhere, yeah.
Okay, because I know JP Morgan has a
Yeah.
branch part of that for, like, when I was in their tech department, but I think it's
Yeah.
company wide, so that they do have, you can volunteer a day of your work for certain nonprofits.
Yeah, I would love if like a JP Morgan like sponsored us.
Yeah.
Yeah, our CodeMiami too, like imagine what they could do with the resource map in just one day, like getting those like really talented people involved, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the concepts that Silvio, who's not here this evening, but he always talks about, is this idea of a Mount Miami verse, which is kind of like a resource map, but in, in 3 dimensions.
Okay.
Yes, so which would be possible, technically possible. It might be overkill in some respects, but it would be possible. The technology exists, it's just a matter of putting the pieces together.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, right? The community engagement and like all of that program management.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Do you guys have a tech stack ready to go and
for the resource map, yeah. Yeah.
what is it?
So we have the great thing about these students is they are able to do so much without my input, because my background's in history.
Yeah.
And the program management, the community management. But you know what a resource map tech stack is? Okay, I forget. But
WordPress or something?
no, it's pretty advanced what the students set up. Oh, I forget. I think Firebase.
That's Google's platform.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, you can
So
search.
probably React, or it could be PHP, I'm not sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
React.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
React front
XJS
end.
probably, if they're recent grads, JavaScript.
So maybe Node.js backend with some sort of Firebase.
I should
interface.
send Luke what your guesses were. He's the student. It's really insane. He's only a sophomore and he led the entire build with the students. So they built it in like 2-week sprints. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And so then all you need to do is put the data layers. in.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been importing the data as we've been getting it from the different
Interesting.
partners.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright, gotcha. That's very interesting. So I see, so you build the technical infrastructure and then a way to layer in
The data.
content.
And my dream is, and Luke's working toward this with his team, to have APIs that just, like whenever the Central Florida Foundation updates the nonprofit search, it automatically updates every year.
Right, yeah,
But right now, we've been mainly working with just like regular getting spreadsheets from them and
yep,
updating it
yeah.
manually. And we have a suggest and edit function, so like if a nonprofit, like let's say Kids Feeding Kids, they're like, ooh, when we added ourselves to the philanthropy hub, we didn't realize we had that embarrassing typo. They can suggest and edit and fix it, and then I'm one of the admins, some of the other students are admins can approve it.
Okay, So it sounds like your organization needs content. So it could be research,
Yeah.
it could be data, it could be video.
And
right?
community engagement.
And community
Yeah.
engagement, okay. All right, because you have the technical infrastructure for it. So we're part of CodeMiami's mission is to do some content work.
Nice.
But there's also a very strong, how can we futz around with the technology?
Yeah.
Part of it.
Yeah.
So do you guys have needs in that area?
Yeah, I mean, always, any of these technologies can be improved and iterated. I think the main thing is just starting to work together
Okay.
and like building a real like community of practice in civic tech in Florida. So, yeah.
Oh, by the way, the Grammar Hub is like a network of programmers.
Oh, fantastic.
So I look at Alan,
Yeah.
he also co-founded Code for San Antonio.
Oh, cool.
So he knows about Code
Yes.
for Brigade,
Yeah.
he knows about, he's actually trying to spread Grammar Hub, his group,
Yeah,
to the rest of the nation.
yeah.
So-
Oh, I love that.
So he's building like basically a clone of Code for America, but for working professionals.
Okay, cool. Let's all collaborate. I
Yes.
think that'd be
Yeah,
great.
he's a great resource on understanding the entire nation
Yeah,
and how the groups connect together.
yeah.
Because he knows a lot of like people in New York and so he just knows what the basic intention behind Code for America and then what happened and now where to go.
Used to.
I think with our technologies too, like so for Able, right, we're in the stage where the students did the whole overview and put together the survey. As soon as we got those survey results back, if like CodeMiami or Grammar Hub
Yeah.
wanted a technical project, so we could tee that up for you and you could build something pretty quickly.
ISO 14440.
And then we've been mainly, our big mentor in this has been the state of Florida's Vocational Resources Department. So we could
Yeah.
like tee it up with them and launch the technology with them potentially.
So, this is similar to a resource map, is that correct?
No, so this one is, we don't know what it's gonna be yet. Like, we just did a lit review about what's out there in
Right.
terms of technologies for individuals with disabilities in the workforce. And we put together a survey and an interview protocol. Now we just gotta do the research part, but then once the research is done, we'll have a pretty good idea of what technologies would be helpful. And then we could just give that to you guys if you want another
Sure.
technology project and just the team could build it.
Interesting to see what.
I think that's a
the
way
needs
we
are.
could set the
Yeah.
ecosystem up where it's like research into practice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha, okay, and I think my students are, like I said, they're in the content and there may be some members from CodeMiami who are interested in content.
nice.
Yeah, okay.
Well, and this one, like, once the content's done, right, like, once we finish up this research, like, then it can move into technical, so,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Okay. All right, great.
Cool.
Last week in Miami.
Are you guys Oh, yeah, we can end the recording. Thanks, everybody, come find us.